Hello, and thank you for joining me for this very short presentation in regards to PIPA and our strategic focus moving forward. I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us for this presentation and to learn more about what we're doing in regards to the industry and how we want to take the association forward as the peak association for the property investment industry. A little bit about myself. I'm a fellow practitioner. I'm the CEO and founder of Empower Wealth. I've been a member of PIPA since 2009. I'm a qualified property investment advisor since 2010, and I became chair of the association in July of 2012, taking over from Margaret Lomas. In that time I undertook a strategic review, and this presentation really does talk about that strategic review and what we need to do to bring the association up to the level of status that it needs to not only drive professional development for fellow practitioners, but also to ensure that consumers are well protected in this unregulated industry. So as part of that strategic review, we looked at the issues associated with our association, and we weren't growing at an adequate pace. Basically, because of our lack of size, we lacked a voice for both professionals and also for consumers. So we needed to increase the size of our association, and obviously we had a very limited financial outputs means to make our message heard. But that's changing as I sit here and deliver this presentation to you today. We certainly want to continue our education and development and to increase the professional standards of those who operate in the property investment industry. So as part of that review, I presented to the board and also at the AGM in October of last year a 7-point strategic focus plan. And basically what's happening here is to just outline our critical points and what we want to be measured on in regards to how we're taking the association forward. So the first one was basically we needed to ensure that we had mainstream recognition of acceptance of the property investment industry, and that it basically is an industry. To do so, we're currently developing an economic white paper and have that as a briefing paper that basically shows the size of the industry, the number of people who work in the industry, the economic impact of the industry to the overall economy, and so people can start to really consider exactly how important our industry is and how professional we are in what we do in our industry. The second point, we wanted to ensure that we're an all-encompassing industry association. One of the observations when talking to fellow professionals inside the industry is a lot of people made the mistake to think that the PIPA as an association only for property investment advisors. It's not. We want the association to be all-encompassing, from real estate agents to financial planners to accountants to valuers to lenders to mortgage brokers. So all the people who have a direct and indirect activity focus inside the property investment industry. So that's one of the big things that the messages that we need to get out to the association and to also all those people who may be interested in joining the association. So we're not just for property investment advisors, as I mentioned. So we've set up a membership structure that accommodates all professional practitioners, and in doing so, what we've been able to do is we want to try and drive inquiry to those people. So as we redevelop the website, what you'll see is a need for or an opportunity for consumers to find a financial planner, a property investment advisor, a buyer's agent, and they can basically look in their local area to find the professionals that they need. And you know, let's be very honest, it does require a lot of professionals to be involved in the process, whether it be lawyers, conveyancers, as I said, accountants. So it's not just one particular profession that operates inside our industry. So we're going to open membership up to all the different categories, and we have a list of those categories available. We certainly are not going to let up on our status as consumer champions and advocates. There is definitely work that we need to do there in terms of ensuring consumers are aware of the operators in our industry. Whilst we remain an unregulated industry, there will still be risks associated with our industry in regards to those people who enter our industry for their own financial gain, as opposed to the benefits of those that they advise or they direct. So we'll continue to be a high profile in this area to ensure that consumers are not getting ripped off in any way, shape or form. And we'll continue obviously with our regulation argument to all levels of government. Here's an example of one of the ads we have running at the moment. This is basically our buyer beware. We won't, we're not going to sort of step back and be sensitive about the way in which we approach our consumer advocacy work. It is very simple. There are certainly unscrupulous operators in our industry, and we're going to make it very clear that that you should be working with a member of the professional association. And obviously, if you're considering joining the association, which I highly recommend, you'll be able to use our branding and livery on all your marketing materials, so people know that you're a member of the Peak Association in Australia. We're also obviously out there in terms of putting opinion pieces and media commentary. Some very high profile members of the board such as Margaret, Damien Collins, Phil Tarrant, Brad Matthews and the like, who are active in supporting the message to consumers, the buyer beware message. So these are just some examples of that particular activity. We want to increase PIPA's awareness. That's obviously a no-brainer. So we're doing that through media publication. So our business-to-business activities are very strong and will continue to grow. So we obviously believe that visibility will lead to that credibility and ensure that the association is recognised across the board. So consumers, again, I make this message very clear that we'll be very active out there in making sure that if, in all of the industry publications, that if they're not a PIPA member, can they be trusted or can't they be trusted? So, PIPA operates under a very strict code of conduct, which is a full disclosure code. So those people who are seeing what's happening in financial services are seeing that this disclosure and fee for advice is the future. So that full disclosure is something that we're going to be advocates of, to ensure that if regulation is coming our way, we're at the forefront of that regulation conversation. From a trade point of view, we definitely are going to be putting our trade message out there as the best and brightest. So we will be focusing on qualifications and standards across the industry. We already have licensing across real estate, across financial planning, across accounting work, across valuation services. So our next goal is to make sure that we identify who those industry best and brightest are, and for those people who are aspiring to be as good as they are, to get the adequate qualifications and levels of education needed to be part of that. So obviously our push is anyone who's looking to give property investment advice should be focused on becoming a qualified property investment advisor and doing the formal qualification to do so. So here's an example of the best and bright marketing activity that we're doing in some of the industry publications. So we are the Peak Association. We do offer, we offered a special discount. We will continue to offer that discount through the expos for industry practitioners who are looking to become a member of our association and potentially to develop their skill sets. We need to have that marketplace relevance, so that industry voice, and we will be doing that through government and media in a big way. Again, we'll be looking at documenting not only just in press but also the potential of some television exposure moving forward, where we may advocate some name and shame operators, and also look at ensuring that the stories around consumers being ripped off, that we get our message out there that you need to be looking for members who are part of the association who operate under a strict code of conduct. Consumer champion and advocate, very clear about that, and obviously we want to be the #1 go-to association for views and opinions from any forms of media who are making commentary or producing any activity in regards to our industry. The membership drive is a big important one. We talked about having relevance, and size is going to bring that relevance. The new membership structure is a big step forward in allowing members to be recognised as part of their profession and their speciality. So, and consumers being able to find those members based on their qualifications through our search tool that will be developed shortly on our website. So that's an exciting program that we're working through, and so there'll be more details on that in the coming months. The branding alignment and usage, we'll encourage members to ensure that they use our branding wisely and ensure that they get the professional recognition and kudos across their business by using our livery and our branding materials. The value add things, and that is this consumer drive inquiry. The redevelopment of the website is a very big focus for us. We'll be getting sign off on the board on that at our March board meeting, and we'll be moving forward in that area to redevelop the website and make sure that it's very much consumer focused, as well as also having the more important trade, or just as important I should say, trade information available there for our members. Industry professionalism, ongoing professional development and education is a big part of what we want to do. We'll continue to be publishing pieces to help advisors develop their skills and make sure that they're complying with any regulatory requirements, and that's going to be an important part of how we move forward as well. What is interesting for those of you who are watching this and considering becoming a member of our association, we are very clear on inviting people who have been members or been professional practitioners in our industry for a long period of time to put up their recognised prior learning. So to apply for a QPIA based on their experience and their existing qualifications and their professional development. That will be reviewed by our RPL committee, and that committee is basically looking to say there may be an opportunity for new members to get that qualification and to obviously ensure that they are accepted under our RPL, and that would mean that some of the modules as part of their QPIA may not need to be completed because they've completed those modules as part of the other professional development work that they've done. So I do encourage anyone who has been an experienced practitioner or who has qualifications in areas of buyers agents, mortgage broking, accounting, financial planning to apply for your RPLs and get that reviewed by our committee to see exactly what needs to be done before you achieve your qualified property investment advisor status or qualification. Ongoing education and training, and that's obviously expression of interest for our courses as well. So we're a not-for-profit association. I need to make this very clear. We do have no other agenda. We are fellow industry practitioners who are passionate about our industry, and we want to keep our industry recognition and status up there in terms of consumers, and to do that we obviously need to be recognised as the peak association, and certainly we need to start recognising those people who have strong qualifications as the industry's best and brightest. Until such time as regulation becomes of our industry, and I do believe that we will see some form of regulation into our industry over time. Self-governance, what's important with regards to our self-governance is to operate under our code of conduct and ensure that you comply with all of our procedures and processes in how you deal with your customers and how you disclose information to your customers. That's really important because that'll separate the true practitioners from those people who are still looking to basically to rip off consumers. So we'll continue to focus in that area. So action to date, as part of this strategic review, we've set up these committees. We have a strategic directions committee as part of the board. We have a marketing and communications committee, education and professional development committee. We have an advanced standing committee. They are the people who review the RPLs that I mentioned earlier. We have a finance and operations committee, and we also have a legal and risk committee. So by doing such a thing, we can move through our agenda quickly and professionally, and we've got some good developments happening in regards to areas of course materials and potentially providers of our course materials, and secondly around professional indemnity insurance. We're currently reviewing some tenders that have been presented to us in regards to providing professional indemnity insurance for our qualified property investment advisors as well. So they're all the sort of key focuses in terms of what we're doing. We have the new membership structure, property investment profile, economic impact paper. These are all things we're working on. The overall strategy. We've got communication strategy, marketing strategy, and our online website strategy as well underway. We have the expression of interest, as I mentioned before, for our QPI training, course upkeep and assessment. So there's plenty going on. Decisions re QPIAs. We're looking at it to attract experienced practitioners, which I mentioned earlier. Improve financial reporting and budgeting, so we can deliver reports to our members in regards to how the association's going. We've implemented these KPIs for our business in regards to growth drivers and getting critical mass in terms of our membership levels. And then professional indemnity insurance is also, as I said, under expression of interest at the moment as well. And we'll continue to lobby the government, even though we may see a change of government later this year. It's still part of our mandate to ensure that we have a professional industry, and we know that regulation certainly will play a role in improving and cleaning up our industry. So these are the new membership categories that we're looking at. So if you fit into any of those categories, then we'd welcome your inquiry into our offices to see and to learn more about exactly how to become a member of PIPA. So it's really important that if you fit into those categories and you want to potentially get some further inquiry into your business, this may be a way in which you can do that. And obviously, as I said, utilise the branding of the association as we go out and educate consumers that the only practitioners you want to be working with are members of our peak association. We know there's more to be done, so we do have some long-term goals to ensure that the public only work with those members as trusted professionals, and we obviously know that we need to do more in terms of providing educational development to our members. But it's, yeah, look, we're moving forward. It's there's a lot on our plate. We do this as unpaid work, so we donate our time and our efforts to get into that position to be able to do such a thing. So I'd like to thank you for you taking the time to again watch this presentation. And if you'd like further information about our association, you can go to the website, which is www.pipa.asn.au. So that's pipa.asn.au. Thank you again for your time, and I'll also have that as in the information on our YouTube. Bye for now.